All right. Well, we have one more speaker before we get to the two candidates. Our next speaker is the host of the Final Chapter radio show. It's heard on 6:50 a.m. on Sundays from noon to 1 p.m. This man is, he has a connection to Zach Grady, by the way. His connection is that they both work in the same occupation. They're both air conditioner repair guys. Please welcome a liberty-loving guy, Chip Darby.
Appreciate the introduction. Listen, guys, I am not a stage guy, radio guy. And by the way, the air conditioning thing, that's how I got into radio. It's regulation after regulation after regulation. And what it amounts to is the whole green movement, within our field anyway, is corporation fighting this corporation. It's garbage. Anyway, look, guys, how many of you got a pamphlet like this? All right. How many did not get a pamphlet like this? KC, where you at, boss? I think he's finishing off the shiner. No, he's not. There he is. Listen, my deal is I've got notes, and not very good notes. I'm a radio guy. I'm not a stage guy. But I do want to ask you a question. How many of you out there are Ron Paul supporters? All right. How many of you are Christians? Okay. How many atheists? All right. Now let me ask you a question. Why is it that the atheists and the Christians are both Ron Paul supporters? The message of liberty. Liberty speaks to the soul. I don't care how different you are. Liberty speaks to the soul. It absolutely does. And I don't care what belief system you're in. All right? It does not matter to me. I myself lean towards Christian beliefs, and that's a leaning towards Christian beliefs. But liberty speaks to the soul. It does. That's why Ron Paul's message of liberty is so important and reaches so many people. Do y'all know that 80% of the United States professes to be Christians? 80%. Where am I going with this? Like I said, I tend to lean towards Christian beliefs. But if 80% of the United States were actually Christian, actually following the beliefs, biblical beliefs are all about liberty. Biblical beliefs are completely about liberty. God gives everyone a choice. Whether you believe in Him or not, it doesn't matter. He gives you a choice. Did God say don't smoke pot? There's more scriptures on gluttony than there is on pot. Did you know that? There are more scriptures preaching against gluttony, overeating. And yes, I got a few pounds to lose myself. But there are more scriptures on that than there are on pot. The founding fathers agreed with the message of God, which happens to be the message that Ron Paul is bringing back. There it is. The libertarian message. What you have in this pamphlet is the preamble to the Constitution and something you will rarely ever find. And this is the reason I pass this out. This is a copy of the Bill of Rights with the preamble to the Bill of Rights. How many of you knew there was a preamble to the Bill of Rights? Just a few. What is the preamble? What is the purpose for the preamble? Anyone got a guess? To tell the intent. Does everyone have a pamphlet now? We need a few more, Casey. Dude, I cannot start the preamble to the Constitution until we get this passed out. I can, however, squish a bottle of Ozarka. All right. Can we read it together? We the people. Or not? Hello? We out there? All right. Open this thing up. We've got the message of liberty. We have the preamble to the Constitution of the United States. Can we read this? We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect or complete union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Secure the blessings of liberty. All right, we're kind of familiar with liberty. Unfortunately, our government's not familiar with liberty. The Enumerated Powers Act, have y'all heard of that? No? The Enumerated Powers Act is something Ron Paul brings up periodically. It simply requires Congress to show where they get the authorization within the Constitution to do this. We have people who don't get involved in politics. It makes me sick. People do not want to get involved in politics. People believe the Constitution is irrelevant. Think about this. Establish justice, promote the general welfare, provide for the common defense, and secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity. What is our posterity? That precious little girl walking right there, that's our posterity. Those that come behind us. If you don't think politics are important, if you think the Constitution is outdated, screw you. I don't care. Screw you. This is important. This movement is important. Getting people in office like Zach Grady and Steve Susman is important. Not for us, but for our children and our grandchildren. And if you don't think that this is important, I got no use for you. But I see Ron Paul supporters out here. I see people bound together by a message of liberty, a message of hope. And that excites me. That gives us hope. Jay mentioned Texas Senate, the Texas House, and the problems with that. Jay Stang, I don't know how many of you are familiar with him. He's with Oath Keepers, a magnificent organization. We have had our rights violated. I mean, Houston, what have you got? You've got a metro that you didn't want, that you were forced to pay for, and then they tried to make you get groped to ride the thing that you paid for that you didn't want in the first place. Yeah. Is that liberty? No! That's not liberty, that's not tranquility. That has nothing to do with our Constitution or the preamble. Absolutely. The problems, however, just like Kathy pointed out and Jay pointed out, lie within our state legislature. Our entire state Congress is broke. Why? We've got a Republican majority. And aren't Republicans conservatives? Aren't they? Guys, I'm a Republican. Guess what? When I went to the convention, I got a little piece of paper that said that. The problem is, Republicans aren't all conservatives, and they don't even follow their own platform, most of them. Now, I would not be saying this had the Libertarian conventions not already been passed, okay? If you are not a delegate to the Libertarian Convention, I'm going to urge you to look on the very back page and visit Stampede. I'm going to urge myself to hold this mic properly. Okay, hold on a second. Visit StampedeTX.com. We have liberty-minded candidates there. We have, every time the Republican gets a liberty-minded candidate, you know what happens? They get shut out. The media shuts them out. I am with CBS Radio, okay? They will not let me interview these candidates. By God, I have to have Casey call in on behalf of Steve Susman. Is that ridiculous? Yeah. CBS Radio, that's what happens when you go with a corporation, all right? The media does not want the message of liberty spread. We've got people running for state Congress like Heidi Tice, and Rachel Delgado in y'all's district. This is state, okay? We need to strengthen Texas. Without Texas being strong, Kathy made mention of this. We're Texans. We have to stand up. I interviewed Ron Paul. I'm a little bit in favor of secession. I don't know how many of you are, and I don't know if y'all are going to throw stones at me because of it. But I do favor secession. At least Texas independence and Texas leading the nation if we're to recover this nation. Okay? So I asked Ron Paul, I said, hey, what do you think about secession? He said, Chip, Austin's worse at times than Washington, D.C. He said it's more corrupt and much worse at times than Washington, D.C. So I would not favor secession with this group in Austin. I like Ron Paul. He makes me think. He really does. You know, I wanted to talk about the MAP 21, the NDA. Are y'all familiar with MAP 21? The IRS can keep you detained here in the United States, won't give you a passport if you allegedly owe them tax. Yeah, that's the Iron Curtain. Connect the dots. All right, we want you to pay. We want you to have Obamacare. Pay a fine. Oh, you didn't pay the fine. Guess what? Now you don't get a passport. Ron Paul was mocked, and it makes me sick to my stomach. He was mocked when they asked him about a fence on the border, and he said fences might be used to keep people in. That was just a few months before this MAP 21 came out. That dude's got some insight. He knows what's going on. Our liberties are being violated consistently. Texas, we need to send people like Grady and Steve Susman to Washington to defend us. And we need to get the constitutional conservatives out there to Austin. All right? Right now, you can, if you're not a Libertarian delegate, you can vote in the Republican primaries, and I urge you to vote for those on the Stampede Texas website. Go to stampedetexas.com, go to the website, and find those guys. Donate money to Steve. Donate money to Zach. We need them in office, and we need Texas strong. If Zach can't save us, if Steve can't save us, we'll need these guys in Austin. I thank you very much for the time, guys.